Support comes from Hampton Roads Community Foundation, partnering with donors from all walks of life to improve southeastern Virginia through grants, scholarships, and leadership initiatives. Learn more at hamptonroadscf.org.
Hello, everyone. I'm Barbara Ham-Lee. It's a phenomenon uniquely experienced by many African American women: hair anxiety. It stems from societal pressures, discrimination, and personal insecurities about their natural hair, and can result in lifestyle changes like limiting exercise, yielding to pressure in the workplace to have straight hair, and spending lots of time and money on styling and hair care products. So what are ways Black women can come to terms with their hair and be at peace with its natural beauty? Some advice when Another View returns, right after this national, regional, and local news from NPR and WHRO News.
Discussing today's topics from an African American perspective, this is Another View.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Another View. I'm Barbara Ham-Lee. Thank you so much for joining us today. And before we get started in our show, I just want to tell you about an event happening on Saturday. You know, I always bring you guys events about what's going on in the community. So Saturday, August the 23rd, Rugged Evolution Foundation presents its 6th annual Back to School giveaway. Now, they're going to do haircuts, student IDs, they're having lunch, backpacks, free backpacks, shoes, supplies, face painting, all of that's going to be going on. It's from 9 until 4 p.m. at 2587 Campostella Road in Chesapeake, and they want you to come out and engage and enjoy. And I also had yesterday the honor of being a guest with Dr. Eric Claville on his radio show, which is called State of the Water. And we had a community conversation. You can hear our conversation this coming Sunday at 10 a.m. on WNSB Hot 91 FM. And I hope that you guys will tune in. You'll find out some backstory about what we do here at Another View. So later on in our show, we're going to talk with two-time Oscar nominee actor Jamon Ansu about special events happening in Hampton and Richmond, commemorating 1619 and the arrival of the first Africans to English North America. But first, hair anxiety. It's real for Black women. It's something that most have experienced at some point in our lives, but for many, it actually impacts daily living. Here to help us understand this phenomenon and to come to terms with our hair is Michelle Williams. She is CEO of Versus Salon in Virginia Beach. Hi, Michelle. How are you?
Hi, fine. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
And she has been taking care of Black hair for more than 20 years, so she knows what she's talking about. There we go. And Ashley Tru Ward is with us. She's an actress, spokesperson, musician who will share her personal story with hair anxiety. How you doing, Ashley?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here. So, ladies, I got to ask you, is today a hair anxiety day because of the storm?
For me,
Yes.
I have the curly hair popping right now.
Yes.
But the wind is always a factor because when you feel like you have it in place and you got the frizz down, the wind just blows you in. It's a whole new creative hairstyle. So
Yes.
it's going to grow bigger and bigger as we sit here today.
Yes.
It goes along. And Michelle?
Yeah. Well, today, no. Today isn't because I'm wearing a protective style, which I normally don't do, but I have a protective style. So today isn't a day for hair anxiety. But when I wear my natural hair as Ashley, yes, I would have a little bit of anxiety.
Is it the humidity that would be an issue?
Humidity is
things like
always
that.
an issue with natural curls. So you always want to protect it because it could be a hot shower. It could just be the weather, the dew. Those type of things definitely get into the hair cuticle and cause them to swell. So that's why you would have big hair.
Which is not a bad thing.
It's
Yeah.
not.
So you said protective covering.
Mhm.
For those who may not understand what that means, can you explain?
Protective styles?
Yeah, protective style.
styles are more like braids or anything that's in its natural twist set state that does not come out. Natural curls is what Ashley has, is her natural curl pattern. It's a big
So
difference.
it's the curl pattern that grows out of her head
Exactly.
from birth.
It's her
Okay.
natural curl pattern. So it's two different aspects. So that's why you have so many curl specialists now, which I am a curl specialist, because we actually deal with the person's natural curl.
Okay. Can you explain, before we get into the whole mental piece of all of this, what is 4C hair? What are the C's, and what does that mean in terms of curl pattern?
Okay. And I will say that I'm a multicultural stylist, so I deal with 2A. It starts from 2A to 4C.
Okay.
So 2A is more of a flatter texture, a straighter texture at the roots, and more looser waves at the ends. 3s have a little bit more bounce or spring to them, natural curly. Ashley's probably more or less, not to see it, but Ashley is probably like anywhere from a 3C to a 4A. Is less visible curl.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And then the more you get into the 4s,
Yes,
that's
the 4.
a curlier, tighter curl, or
It's actually a less visible curl. It's more
less
zigzag.
visible.
Yep. And you actually can see the difference in everyone that comes in. No one has the same curl pattern.
That's interesting.
Yes.
So I thought, and I was apparently totally mistaken, that when we were given the freedom, if you will, or when women took the freedom to wear their natural hair, especially Black women, that things were different about the attitude towards our hair. But what I'm seeing on social media and reading about is that there's still trauma, Ashley, about your hair and how to fix it and how to navigate that. Why is that?
You know, I think there's so much emotion to how you look. And for us as Black women, hair is mostly what we're judged on at our first encounter with people. So our natural hair is a touchy topic, and it's a beautiful topic. We can't tame it. Some people will call it taming it, making it look presentable, making it look professional.
You said that word presentable is like noise on the chalkboard.
It really
nails
is,
on the chalkboard
because
for
what
you.
is that? How can we be defined and boxed in? Why is there a standard of what we do and how we are creative with our hair? Why do you judge us for that? Why is that, what job we will get, what education level you think we're at, how professional we are, how we care for ourselves. I love for my hair to be big and wild. I do. But I also understand what stigma that carries and what people will think about me. Maybe if they don't understand Black hair care or Black expression of hair, they might not understand that that's my freedom coming through in my self-expression. They might see that as unkept, you know? So I've dealt with this anxiety for a long time, since I was a little girl. And when we were talking about doing this show with you, it brought up so many emotions for me. From when I was a little girl in school, in a classroom, and my hair had swelled because of the humidity. My mom left it out the one time she did. It got so big, and I was sitting in class, and the students couldn't see past me. And my teacher was going to move me so that everyone could see in front of me.
Oh, wow.
And I can remember that being a pivotal moment in my life where I was like, something's wrong with my hair. I need to tame it. I need to take it down. So anxiety started early, and it's a shame that it's keeping going.
And as you are in the entertainment industry, as you are an actress, I mean, obviously you have to change your hair for various parts, roles you play, and so forth. But did you always have a Black stylist that could do your hair? Is there a difference between having a Black stylist do your hair versus a non-African American?
So I believe Black stylists might not be the issue. And the issue is someone being educated in how to care for natural hair in itself. Because I've had two separate situations on set. One on a TV show called Swagger, and one on a movie that was for Hallmark. And they were great experiences, but on both shows I had anxiety. On one particular one, I had more anxiety because the stylist was older and wasn't very familiar with the age of the Black hair care and natural movement coming up. So we continuity is a big thing when you're on a movie, right?
Yeah.
So we play that game where the magic is this is all happening consecutively, but what you don't know is we shooting this over 2 months. So if my hair looks nicely tamed, curled, and the curl pattern is tight in one scene, and then the next scene that is the same day, I come back and my hair is huge, they know it's not the same day. So there's a lot to tackle in knowing how to keep the consistency, what products to use, not to spray water on my hair because it will grow and grow and grow. So there's an art to it. So I think it's not about the black stylist, it's about the education.
Okay.
Being educated in textures. I would say it's huge in knowing how to deal with someone's texture, because just because they're black doesn't mean that they will have 4C hair. So sometimes we have black clients that'll have believe it or not, 2C hair, or Caucasian clients that have 4C hair. So you have to be trained on texture and knowing what products to use on your hair to maintain your natural curl. That's what's important.
So I think a lot of people thought also, or they may think, although we know this is not the case, that you just let it go and you don't do anything. You just jump in the shower, let it go, and that's it. But there is much more to it than that, isn't it?
It is. A lot of people like, well, a wash and go, what is that? You just wash and go? I was like, no. It's a whole step process that can take up to an hour, because you have to, it's not that simplistic, because you have to know what products are going to work with your hair. So the only thing that I'm utilizing is either my fingers or either the various type of curl brushes. And so you have to just keep working with the hair, and if they have porosity issues, you have to just keep on finding that magic combination or that magic product that's going to make their hair tame. And sometimes it's not done in one shot. So also that's when you have to understand that it takes time and patience to transition to natural curly hair, especially if you've been doing any type of hard manipulation on your hair. It could be blow drying, flat ironing, even braiding sometimes, could be drying. You have to understand that going natural is a whole nother ball game. And that's why it's like you said, a huge phenomenon now. But it's definitely it's a good challenge, but it's a challenge.
So there are some who have said that they are going back to straightening their hair because it's too much drama, Ashley.
Okay, so I feel that the anxiety comes in when you start your journey and you have to have that stick-to-itiveness.
Yes.
I think we have to train our hair, which Michelle has taught me all throughout my journey, my 13, 14 years with her, training my hair to receive the water and the moisture that it needs to be healthy, and how to keep it locked in and how to layer my products. But there are time periods in your hair journey where you will have a TWA, which is a teeny weeny afro. Where you will have that weird stage where you look like, she called me Fred Sanford one time. It was
that's
stuck
because
at
she
that
went and got it cut somewhere else.
Yes, that's true. But Michelle is the one I should have stuck with. But in your journey, you'll have setbacks, and this is where hair anxiety comes in, because you can't get around those feelings of feeling like you don't look your best.
Yes.
You don't. It's not where you want it to be. And the thing for me is when I go out on anywhere and women point to me and say, I love your hair, I wish my hair would do that, I say to them, it will in its own way if you're patient and you train it. So it's kind of like I get those high fives like, hey sis, you gonna be there. You gotta encourage, because there's gonna be a time in your journey when the anxiety overtakes you and you do want to go back to straight hair. And it's a time commitment. Yeah. But if you can commit, you get something beautiful.
I'm going to put in another piece to that. Also, loving what you have. Because they look at different curl patterns like, well, I don't want that curl pattern. It's like, this is your curl pattern. You have to love it, whether it's 4C, 3AB, whatever the texture is. That's what you have.
And is it also about, once you determine what that texture is, finding the right style that makes you feel good about how you look with that style?
Absolutely. And just loving your curl pattern. So it's your natural curl pattern. So you have to begin to love that. And that might be, going on to twist sets or other things, or you can still do roller sets, but understanding that for the first year or two, no heat.
No heat.
No heat.
So heat is a bad thing.
No, definitely no heat, because you're manipulating your natural curl pattern. So if you want it to be consistent from root to end, you can't put any heat on it.
So how long does it take your hair to dry? I'm just curious, because you have
Hours.
because you have a lot of hair.
It can take 6 to 7 hours if I'm just doing a no heat process. If I'm going to use a diffuser, which is a heated process, it dries your hair quicker. It could take me up to an hour to diffuse my hair fully.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what about things like wigs and sew-ins? And I mean, there's so many different ways that you can manipulate your hair and the hairstyles, but all of them, I would assume, Michelle, have some sort of impact upon how your natural hair grows.
It does. And I mean, I do a little bit of, all the different new techniques, the microwefts and all those different new techniques that are really cool and really give a blended feel. But, and this is my professional opinion, I feel that the sew-ins is the healthiest method. But the only thing with the sew-ins is that it puts a lot of tension on any hair that you leave out. So that's why the young ladies do the closure pieces or your sides, because it has to attach to something.
So, and for those who don't know what a sew-in is, can you explain?
It's a
how
traditional
it works?
method where they comb roll your hair down. Normally they put a protective netting on it, and then they sew the hair with needle and thread, the wefts, the tracks onto your hair. And a lot of times they'll leave out the top, or either they'll put a closure piece or something on top of the hair.
Okay, so this is gonna make me sound really, really old, but
Never.
But I remember a time. I mean, it seemed like when I was coming up, first of all, the afro was the greatest thing that ever happened to me from my hair style and so forth. And so my hair has just gone from huge to shorter to shorter to shorter. Okay, which is fine, and I'm okay with that. But I've always worn a basic style. Women today really like variety, and they like to mix it up, and they like to change things. Do you think that's always been that way? Because it feels like to me, when watching my mother's generation and all them, they kind of found their style, and that's what they stuck with. I'm just curious. What do you think?
Well, in my realm, because like I said, I that's what I do, curly hair, curl specialist. I get naturally curly girls because they know that I'm going to know how to
Help them.
help them to achieve their goal. But don't get me wrong, in the beginning of my career, that's, I did a lot of sew-in, short hair and all that. And then I just became a love for curls. I was like, oh, this is different. And it's challenging. It's very challenging. So to answer your questions, that's when you get into the color. Like once your hair just is straight, once your hair is to the state where you feel like it's healthy, it's boring, that's when they'll start shaping it. They call it curl shaping it, or adding color, or just doing different things to it.
To just mix it up.
To mix it up, yes.
You want to add to that?
I
Ashley?
do. So shout out to my grandmother who is 90 years old, and she was a hairstylist.
Oh, wow.
So we can imagine, right? Back in the 50s.
Oh, yeah.
Being a
That
black
was taking that hot comb on the stove and
Okay.
straightening that hair.
So when you said that they found their hairstyle, it was straight hair for a long time.
Yeah.
And I can remember some of the times where I wanted to try new things with my hair, and my grandmother would see me and she's like, what is that? Whether it be when I was doing cornrows or when we started getting, going through the process of growing my curly hair out, she's like, she was a little like, I don't know about this. It doesn't look pulled together. It's not my favorite style on you. Now she's all about it. She knows my journey. She knows my love, and we communicate about it. But it's a beautiful thing to see the transition and the acceptance that's happening with being able to express yourself in different ways. When it is the cornrows, when it is the twist, when it is the color. So yeah, that's what I have to say about that. It's a hard pill to swallow.
When you come back to that, I will say is older. Like my grandmother, when I wear my hair curly, she's like, okay. And I'm like, what is that supposed to be?
But a lot of times, because society said, a European look, for the most part, straight hair was what was acceptable. In today's society, we're making that switch, but yet we've even had to pass laws, the Crown Act, in order to stop discrimination. Now, it's still not federal. But Virginia has the Crown Act, and there's several other states that have it. How in the workplace, and what are your clients telling you about how they are perceived in the workplace today?
I would say a lot of them. So in the workplace, it's kind of hard. It just depends. If you're in corporate, then it's a little bit more vigorous, and they were like, I can't wear my hair too big, too curly, because, I will get looked at as being not polished or unprofessional. It depends on what you do. A college kid, the bigger the better. High school, the bigger the better. But it's always a journey of like, I've never worn my hair like this before. I've never worn my hair like this before because I couldn't. A lot of them, they can't. And they're like, oh my God, I hope it's okay.
So they're anxious before they even get into the workplace.
That's whether or not they're anxious even whether or not they'll be accepted. Because a lot of them, they either don't know that they have curl or they don't know how to maintain their curl. And they just want to see how it is. Because the more older you get, I would say you get kind of tired of the manipulation. The younger ladies now are kind of like, I'm tired of the heat. I just want to wear my natural curls. But depending on if they're in college, like, oh my God, I hope my job is going to accept it. So it's still just, an anxiety. It's still an issue.
So I have a personal story of someone who's very near and dear to me, who I have been encouraging to go natural because I know their curl pattern is so beautiful. The struggle came in where it's about the clients that they attract. They're in a client-based business. So wearing her natural hair, this was the argument, would not attract the clientele that she needed, a diverse clientele. So she found a protective style that worked for her, which was false hair being braided in. It was damaging to her hair. Yet she continued to do that same style over and over again. And in the end, it really damaged her hair. And it hurt my heart to know that the anxiety she was feeling because she wasn't going to get the clientele would make her do something to herself that she knew was harming her scalp, harming her hair. But it was to further her career.
How would you advise someone who might be facing that exact same scenario in terms of do they need to go into the workplace and talk to people what would you advise them to do other than, because I would think hopefully that we wouldn't have to go to that extreme that she actually had damaged her hair trying to maintain a look for someone.
And I think we see that a lot with women who don't have any edges, which is the front part of our hair anymore, because we've done styles that we like, that we feel are professional, and we keep doing it over and over again. But we're sacrificing something. So then we're doing a different style to cover up something we've already done.
It's so interesting that you say that, because I was watching a program. One of my guilty pleasures are the reality shows on OWN Network. And I was watching this particular show, and the two girlfriends were talking, and she said, I had to get my kid off to school. I didn't even have time to comb my hair. And the other said, yeah, girl, those edges are edging. Now, first of all, explain what that means so that our audience who may not understand.
That could be a host of things.
That could be different things.
That could be a host of things. Like a lot of the young ladies, they like it really slicked down with gel and laid. And
like we used to call it baby hair.
Exactly. Now they're making baby hair.
I can't get on board with the baby hair.
That's another segment.
Right. They're either edging because they're not laid, or they're edging because they're not there. You have had them snatched off.
but the whole conversation, and in further into that particular show, there was a couple that went out on a couple's date, and it was a cooking class, and they were sautéing, I don't know, onions or something, and the steam came up from the frying pan, and her reaction was, my hair.
Yes.
I mean, it plays into every aspect of your life.
It does.
Now that we talk about going on dates, it's something like, as a woman, you want your man to find you attractive. That can become difficult, right? When you try and find your way through your hair journey, what do they like? And you get anxiety about that.
You do. And I hear women say, well, he's going to have to accept it. That I hear more of that, or either he loves my curly hair. So either he loves my curly hair, he hates when I wear my hair straight. So a lot of the women I see, they have come to that point of they want to embrace their natural curly hair.
If you're just joining us, we're talking about Black women and hair anxiety with Michelle Williams, CEO of Versus Salon in Virginia Beach, and actress, spokesperson, and musician Ashley Tru Ward. Give us a call, 757-440-2665 or 1-800-940-2240, and tell us your hair story. What are you struggling with? Do you face discrimination in the workplace because of the way you've chosen to wear your hair? What advice would you give to other women who are about to step into the natural hair journey? 757-440-2665 or 1-800-940-2240. Michelle, how do you find the right product for your hair? What do you look for?
What do I look for? I'm
Yeah.
looking for a product that's going to give moisture and slip, because all curls, because of the complexity of how curls, they don't just lay flat, they lay rigid. So I'm always looking for something to kind of fill those ridges. So it may be a porosity filler, some type of treatments, whether it's protein or steam. I'll go back and forth in between those until I find that right moisture to combination for the product to accept. Because if it doesn't accept water, like I said, porosity, if it sits on top of the hair and just kind of beads, and it's going to be hard for any product, regardless of what it says, to go into the hair. So the hair has to be relatively healthy, and that can take a while. Just depends on what you were doing beforehand.
Beforehand.
Yeah, it can't.
Okay.
It's not an overnight thing.
So, and I know you've created even a product yourself. You wound up having to do some things to help some of your clients.
Yes.
But if someone is looking for a product, I mean, do you just, read something and say, let me try this first? Okay, that didn't work. Let me try this. Or are there certain things that people need to look for as they are trying to find the right?
I like water-based products that are alcohol-free. Those are the products that I tend to lean towards. And because I said we have a huge diversity with curl patterns, we've had to, over the years, figure out what products will work for all of our clients. And so we're very particular with that. It's so funny because someone had just called not too long ago was like, can I bring my own products? And stylists are like, absolutely not, because we know what works, because this is what we do all day long.
So at basics, is it shampoo, condition, and a product, or is
it's
it?
It's kind of two
It just
shampoos.
depends.
So that's
Okay.
what people don't realize, that you have to
Okay.
clarify, and that's a lot of misconception with naturally curly hair. People think you have to shampoo with conditioner. I'm like, you have to shampoo with conditioner, or they're not shampooing enough to get all the debris and buildup off the hair, so that any new product can get
go
into
into
the hair.
the hair.
Can go into the hair.
Okay.
Yes.
So what's your regimen like, Ashley?
Oh my goodness. It changes. It really does change depending on my goal.
Seasons. Yeah.
Whether I'm looking to retain more length or to treat my hair, which now is colored, because I wanted to spice things up. I added a little bit of color in my hair. So now I have to protect my hair from the chemical that I did put in, and I have to get moisture retention in there. But my regimen usually is once a week I wash my hair. It usually takes about 5 hours.
Wow.
The full process. So when my kids go off to school, I'm like, nobody call me. The day is for washing hair. I'm going to try and get it done.
So that's a whole set of
Yeah,
time.
wash, condition, and then style. And hopefully it'll dry sometime by the end of the night.
And you just let it dry naturally, right?
I do.
Okay. Let's talk to Lynn in Williamsburg. Hi, Lynn. You're on the air.
Hi, I have a question. I have curly hair, and it seems like the curl pattern changes from, say, summer to winter. Is that normal, or does that happen?
Yes, that is normal. That's very normal. In the winter months, is more drier. In the summer months, you're just going to have a lot of humidity. So you would have to use more humectant-based products. So that's very, very, very common. And also depending on the weather. So sometimes we have to switch up what products we use depending on what the weather.
Yeah,
like
that's what I was
it's
gonna ask.
raining.
Do we have
Yeah,
to
it's
change the
raining right
product?
now. So I would definitely put on more of a humectant gel base. But I will say that we don't use gel without cream. I know a lot of people use gel on gel, especially with 4-type hair, to try to achieve a strong curl pattern. But you have to be careful with that, because that would eventually strip your curls. I don't recommend gel on gel.
Okay, Lynn, I hope that answers your question. Thanks for the call. 757-440-2665 or 1-800-940-2240 are the numbers to call to join our conversation. Let's talk to Shanice in Chesapeake. Hi, Shanice. You're on the air.
Hello.
Hi, you're on
Yes.
the air.
Hello.
Hi.
Yes.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, go
Hi.
ahead. What's your question?
Well, I don't really have a question. I wanted to state that I am the individual that Miss Ashley was talking about who is struggling with going back and forth with their hair and damaged it. I wanted to thank both Ashley and Michelle who are helping me to transition to love my hair. It's still difficult, and I do periodically put a wig on when I have to present myself to certain type of clientele. It is a real struggle, but I have transitioned to natural hair, and my hair is growing, and the damage is it's improved. So I just want to say, Michelle, thank you.
Oh,
Ashley,
you're
thank you.
welcome.
You're welcome.
Oh, Shanice, that is so nice for you
welcome.
to call that. But I'm just curious, what else from a mental health perspective did you have to do as you went through this journey? Because I can imagine that must be really tough to have someone else dictate how you can look.
It's really hard, and you know when you have that Fred Sanford haircut, you know, and I thought I could wear an afro, but then I didn't really know my hair. I look in the mirror, and my hair has shrunk down, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what happened? So Michelle taught me about the porosity of my hair, the products, how to keep it, what I could and could not do, and Ashley kind of coached me mentally to love myself and love my hair and love my curls. That, you know, you have to train your hair, is what Michelle says too. You're just not going to pop up and all of a sudden you have the best curl pattern ever. And what Michelle said about you have to learn to love your curl pattern, I think that is the most important thing of it all, because my curl pattern is not like Ashley's pattern, you know?
Yeah,
So.
absolutely. Thanks so much for the call, Shanice. We really appreciate it. Why is our hair such a defining thing when it comes to our self-esteem?
It's your crown. It's the first thing that people see. And I think that's always, even as children, you know, it starts young. It starts young. And that's why I love when clients bring in their children younger and younger to embrace their natural curl, whether it's 2 to see. I love it. And they just end up, they start loving their curls early, because I think it's becoming a shift now that we are accepting our curls and accepting our texture, our natural texture a little bit earlier than the dark and lovely, you know. I was a Revlon baby, so I know of Revlon days, pressing combs, because you have to think, even when you were pressing it, I know my mother, when she would press my hair and I would go out and run and come back with a poof, she would be so upset. But
because it took a lot of work for her to get it straight.
Exactly. But now it's becoming a thing. It's definitely becoming a thing now. I know we've been on it, or I've been on it since like 2012, but it's just becoming a phenomenon now. And you can also see with the products, you notice the whole change in the products and the textures and the advertisement. Everything's different now. So it's just becoming I hate to say it, a thing, but me and Ashley always say curly hair isn't a trend, it's a lifestyle.
Sure.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ashley.
I think about how when people when psychologists do mental health checks on people, what do they look at? They look, how kept is your hair, right? Like that's one thing. If your hair is unkept and disheveled, maybe this person doesn't know how to take care of themselves. They don't have the energy, you know, to be concerned with their hair. And we could just see that's a sign of your mental state right there. And I know there's like a hashtag out there about hair depression.
Yeah, there's hair depression, and there's even psychotherapy.
I heard
Psychotherapy.
about that. So excited.
And and that's this whole idea of using the barbershop and the salon to help people with mental health,
Yes.
their mental health struggles around their hair
Mhm.
and around their self-esteem.
And Michelle has
training them
done
to
that
do
for
things.
me so much without even knowing about
Aw.
that. When you sit in your stylist chair, you vomit all of your information out most
do.
of the time.
Yeah.
Your whole conversation
Yeah.
can be about your life and what's going on. And she's walked me through some of the hardest moments of my life, because I feel like all of my big chops or hair changes have been around a major change in my life.
Mm.
I went through a divorce. I cut off all my hair and went natural. I, started a job as a personal trainer when I was younger. I had long, straight hair. I didn't know what to do. I was sweating and my hair looked a hot mess. I cut all my hair off.
Wow.
It's something liberating about starting that journey and then joining up with a stylist or a professional. It almost is like a growth journey if you stay with them.
Can you do natural hair without a stylist?
Yes.
That's part of being a curl specialist. So you have to show them. It's not just cutting their hair and styling it. You're actually giving them a mirror, showing them what to use. So I would say maybe 5 times a year or 6 times a year, I would see Ashley.
It's a
besides that.
partnership.
Okay, so
Yeah,
it's a
it's definitely a
partnership.
partnership. And you give them a product recommendation of what worked, make sure they like it. And then you just kind of go from there and be like, okay, I like this. I want to switch up this. And just kind of keep on going. And I will say it's so funny. It's definitely anxiety, but in the curl world, we call it a curl story. Like every single person that sits in my chair has a curl story.
Can you share one?
Um,
Just no names, but just.
Let me see. I think the one that probably it's maybe the younger kids sometimes when the parents don't know how to tangle their hair. So they were like, my mom had to cut off all my hair. And that's very traumatic when you're younger. So I never like take younger kids' hair that short. I'm like, just come back, because that's traumatic. So I would say they were like, when I was younger, my mom couldn't tangle through my hair. So she had to cut off all my hair.
Because she didn't know how to comb.
She didn't.
Speaking of that, how do we help those, particularly interracial students?
I was about to talk about that.
yeah,
We
kid-
get that. Yes. So we definitely have a strong clientele that actually have the mothers, that'll come in from interracial, like, hey, I just need help with my child's hair. And we appreciate it. And we just walk them through each step on what to do and how the texture is different. Like, hey, I've tried. I just had someone yesterday. Actually, it was interracial, but then biracial, but then also her hands. She couldn't get through her daughter's hair. So we actually had a stylist to go through and just show her what to do, how to properly cleanse your hair, how to properly detangle your hair to achieve the style that your daughter wants. So we get that a lot.
So we do get that too. Go
And
ahead.
I have 2 daughters, and they're multiracial. I'll show you a quick picture.
Oh, they
And
are adorable,
I
and they
have-
all have curly
Oh,
hair.
I got my hands full. It's been a learning process as well as having a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old going to school and seeing other girls with straight hair and coming home and telling me, Mommy, I want straight hair. It broke my heart. It started happening when we went to Disney World and they saw princesses. And they said, I want the straight hair like the
Oh,
princesses.
wow.
So that's even an aspect of the hair anxiety, seeing it, being ingrained in them what they want and why they can't have it. Mommy, why can't I have hair like this?
Yeah.
Now we're seeing books like Hair Love come out and things like that to encourage them to love their hair and accept it, and it's beautiful. But that was a diffidifficulty for
And
me.
that's the other reason why representation is so important.
is.
It
Absolutely.
is so important
It
because
is.
if all they see is the Disney straight, then that's what they equate beauty with, and we know that that's not all of it.
No.
There's a very. Let's talk to Sharon in Norfolk. Hi, Sharon. You're on the air.
Hi, it's so exciting to hear about the education of hair from stylists. I've always wondered, and I'm in my 70s, so I've gone through a lot of times of hair, but I always wonder why the stylists would do damaging things to our hair, from having perms that would burn your scalp to braids that would pull your hair out, the short hair, and I have locks that I tend to let them lock on their own, and I'm constantly seeing people say, don't you get them done, which means you would twist them until they fall out. So I'm so excited to hear about stylists doing education to help us know that this is not good for your hair, but this is. So thank you for this program.
Oh, you're very welcome, Sharon. Thank you so much for the
Thank
call.
you.
You want to respond, Michelle?
Yeah, definitely. It's all about education, right? The more you know, the more you grow. So, over the years, I think that's been pivotal, to understand what to do to keep hair on your head. You also have to look at your genes. Like if your mom or your dad is thin, then 9 chances out of 10 you will have the same issue. So I've been doing natural hair probably a long time. I would say before anybody else because I was not favored with that. But I was like, okay, it's going to come a time, and it is going to come a time for the most part. I would say 90% of the clients, their hair thin. So that's why you just have to do styles that are not as aggressive on the hair.
On the hair. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see, do we have time for one more call that we can get in? Let's see. Tanya from Norfolk. Hi, Tanya. You're in the air.
Hi, how are you all doing
Okay.
today?
Good.
Good. I just want to know, why go natural? I've been natural now for about 22 years, and I have locks. And the reason why is because of the chemicals. I did perm and all of that when I was younger, but I decided that I wanted to go natural. And I want to know the health aspect because I haven't heard about, the synthetic hair. Consumer Reports, they reported that there's cancer-causing chemicals in synthetic hair, that there's endocrine disruption chemicals in synthetic hair. That includes wigs, that includes braids, that includes a lot of things that we do to our hair. And so why go natural? That's the reason to go natural.
Okay, Tanya, thank you for the call. I hate to cut you off a little bit, but we're almost out of time. So I want them to be able to respond to some very good points that you bring up. Thank you so much for the call. You want to respond?
Yeah, she has some good points. You have a lot of good points, but just knowing a lot of those reports are just coming out now, and people are just seeing them, and some people want to accept what they're seeing, and some people don't want to accept what they're seeing. So it is. I think it's great to stay away from the chemicals.
So, but no matter which way you wear your hair, you still need to make sure that you take, or whichever way you style your hair, I should say, you still need to take care of your natural hair. Whether you're wearing a wig or you're sewing or whatever, you still have to take care of your natural hair.
Absolutely. And I think that choosing to go natural is sometimes a health-based decision. For me, I know I love natural hair products that have no chemicals in them. And it's just like when you eat food, when you make better choices for your body, making better choices for your hair can be difficult. They're not always as accessible, those natural products. It's very hard to transition out of the lifestyle of using chemicals. So I think it's amazing now that it is getting more popular and more people are becoming more aware of that.
So we've got about 2 minutes left. I'm going to give each of you an opportunity to say what you'd like to say to our listening audience about natural hair. Go ahead, Michelle. Let me start with you.
I think, like I said before, natural hair, it isn't a trend. It's a lifestyle. Like, you have to understand that this is what I want to do. I want to wear my hair natural. I don't want to wear any chemicals. I just want to have my natural hair and have it hold on, because the inevitable is age and thinness, right? So it's going to come. So try to hold on to what you, can do as well as possible, as much as possible with your curls.
And Ashley?
Love yourself, love your hair, your natural hair, embrace it. It's tradition, it's our ancestors. It's just amazing. And whatever you're going through, whether it's postpartum hair loss, whether it's a depression, anything like that, just keep hope alive and it'll come back. It'll continue to grow. You can work around any problem and just get educated on your natural hair and stick to it. The journey can be beautiful.
And if people want to get in touch with you, do you have a website for your salon?
Yes. www.versussalon.com. It's a page that's open, and we have curl specialists there along with natural hair specialists there that you can book a consultation, a 15-minute consultation if you want to. It is a $20 fee, but it does go towards your service. And then we also have a product line called thevcurls.com that's for naturally curly hair.
Okay. Ladies, thank you so much for being here today. And hopefully we've given some folks the opportunity to really embrace and love their hair. You know, I love mine.
Thank you.
And we will be right back. And welcome back. He's probably best known for his riveting performance in the Steven Spielberg movie Armistead. But two-time Oscar nominee actor Djimon Hounsou is not only huge on screen, but also in the history preservation space. He's in Hampton Roads this weekend to commemorate the landing of the first Africans to English North America in 1619 at Point Comfort, known today as Fort Monroe. It is a pleasure, sir, to have you here on the show today.
Well,
How are you?
I'm really well.
Good.
Thank you for having me on your show.
So with all of the discussion about, you know, our 250th anniversary of the making of America is coming up, and all this, the discussion about what is true history and what is not and all of that, why is this weekend so important to you?
Oh, wow. This weekend represents the day in 1619 when the first enslaved African arrived in British colony, North America, Point Comfort, in Hampton, here, Virginia. This day represents centuries of enslavement of Afro-descendants, and but interestingly, it's also the start of a 400 years of resilience, 400 years of progress and contribution by African descendants in North America.
And we need to continue to tell that story, do we not?
We do need to continue that story so that we don't repeat that story. We do need to our future depends on how we reflect and how we honor the past and learn from it. It's imperative that we embrace, we embrace our history and learn from it. If not, it's about to repeat itself. Yeah. Unfortunately, in times like, the climate, the political climate today, in terms of social challenge and change, it's important to remember that history so that, we have a common ground on which to reflect where we come from as to where we're heading tomorrow.
And then your foundation is also holding a race, a 5K, right?
My foundation is also holding a sports event called Run Richmond 1619, on which, this idea is literally to have a glimpse and an experience of 400 years of Black history here in Richmond, Virginia.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you actually
on September 27th.
September 27th, yes. And in that race you actually are telling history as they're running.
Yes. In that race, we're running through various historical sites in Richmond, and in each of those important sites have a sort of like a recording where once you arrive there, you could sort of like be somewhat, you could hear a little bit about that particular historical site.
So when you think about your role in Armistead, and then you think about this Saturday where there will be the William Tucker annual African Landing event and so forth, the juxtaposition between the actor and then the recognition of the humanness and the realness of what this means, how do you process that?
I'm not sure how to necessarily process that. It's the same sort of like
same emotions.
Same emotions as when I was doing a number of research on Amistad. When I was portraying Amistad, I was really, I must say, empowered by the history and the knowledge that I acquired, and the awareness of the Black, African American existence in America. That really was. I don't think that I was acting in that film. I think my ancestors were
talking to you.
Really talking to me and uplifting in the portrayal of that character, and that was such an eye-opening and movie that brought tremendous awareness and knowledge. And really championed me to create my foundation today, and trying to bring reconciliation and reconciliation within the African diaspora and the motherland, the continent, and the need to bring about, generational trauma, to bring healing to a group of people that have lived through such
trauma. I mean, there isn't even a word that's strong enough.
That's strong enough to sort of define this this historical indoctrination. And I had to come all the way to America making that film to somewhat understand a thing or two about the indoctrination of the continent of Africa in itself and its diaspora, which is, America, Haiti, Brazil.
How dangerous then, we've only got a minute and a half left, so I don't even know if I should ask you this question, but if we don't continue to tell our history, how dangerous is that for us as a people?
Well, you don't really need an answer from me with that question. It is the reason why we're living this political climate, because we've neglected to address the issues, the American issues, altogether, for generation after generation. I mean, the 40 acre and the mule, I mean, it's like, everybody refused to address that today. But yeah, it is the reason why we're having this political climate today.
Well, thank you, first of all, for stopping by and telling us about what's happening. And this weekend, Saturday, August 23rd, commemorating 406 years of African-American presence in America, starting at 9 a.m. Senator Mamie Locke is the keynote speaker, and Project 1619 is hosting the second part of the African Landing Day program from 10 until 1. It's all happening over at Fort Monroe, and you will be at the scholarship dinner tomorrow night.
And I'll be at the commemoration as well.
And be at the commemoration on Saturday. Yes. That is fantastic. Thank you so very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And thank you, audience, for spending an hour of your life with us here or today on Another View. Now, you can always find our show online. Just go to whro.org/anotherview or Spotify or wherever you find your podcast to enjoy. Next week on Another View, Dr. Keith Newby and Another View on health, and it's going to be a very powerful show, so you really want to tune in. Our theme music is an original composition created especially for Another View by Jay Sennett. Another View intern Selena Harris produced today's show under the supervision of producer Lisa Godley. And we also must say goodbye, but we're saying farewell to our intern India Ray. She's going back to Hampton University. Thank you so much for everything you've done for us this summer, India Ray. We love you. Dr. Barry Graham answered our phones. I'm Barbara Ham Lee. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone. And let's get together again next Thursday at noon for another view.
Support comes from Hampton Roads Community Foundation, carrying out your charitable wishes forever, whether it's helping shelter animals, feeding the homeless, enhancing the arts, or supporting students. Learn more at leaveabequest.org.